Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Driven Wild. Today we are talking about shop-only orders on Doordash. So one of the many ways that you can earn on Doordash, at least recently introduced, is the shop-only order. Not to be confused with shop and deliver orders, but the shop-only order. If you don't know what a shop and deliver order is, I made a video talking all about that as well. I will leave that in the description. Feel free to check it out. But with that said, I want to go over everything that you must know about DoorDash shop only orders, what they tell you as a platform, how it actually is for gig workers and customers, and the platform itself, as well as any associated merchants and everything in between. But before we do that, let's start with a disclaimer. The content of this video does not contain and is never intended to be legal, business, financial, tax, or health advice of any kind. This video is for entertainment purposes only. It is advised that you conduct your own research and consult with qualified professionals before applying anything you find online. I also want to be clear that these things that I'm going to be talking about, some of them may be categorized as market dependent, and what applies to me and my market may not apply to you. So with that said, let's get started. With shop only, customers can order from grocery, convenience, retail stores with curbside pickup, which means Dashers will shop from the customer's list of items in the store and pay with a red card at checkout and place the bags on shelves for the customer to pick up. These orders offer several benefits for Dashers. New ways to earn, more flexible ways to earn on the DoorDash platform. No delivery component. There's no delivery component and you'll save money on gas. Making cash during off-peak hours, so you don't have to schedule around your day around the lunch or dinner time rush. No vehicle required. You don't need a vehicle to do shop-only orders. There's a few things I want to notate from this specific section of this article, so let's talk about each one of them. New ways to earn. It's more like another order to add on to what you already have. Like, we have shop and deliver orders and we have deliver orders. Now we kind of just took the shop and deliver and just made it shop, which Instacart has this opportunity, but more on that later. I feel like the point of no delivery component and no vehicle required are two different things. In order for you to get to a lot of these places, in order to actually do the shopping, you do need a vehicle. Now, yes, there is no delivery component, but you're gonna spend money on gas if the place is far away. So it really doesn't change all that much. And the point of making cash during off-peak hours, I think this is one of the very few times where DoorDash actually acknowledges that, hey, the flexible opportunity that they claim to have is mainly profitable during the lunch and dinner rush. Good on them for trying to fix one of the growing problems of DoorDash. Frequently asked questions. How do shop-only orders work? The steps below include how shop-only works. Accept the shop-only order when it pops up. Shop for the items at the store. Check out the items with the cashier. Pay with your red card if asked. Store bags in the designated area for customer pickup. Now, I've done shop-only orders on Instacart, and I gotta tell you, it's actually not that bad. The payout was a lot better for shop-only at a period of time, but on DoorDash, apparently it's a lot better. And it also gives you a reverse perspective, as opposed to you seeing all of these restaurants bag up stuff and put things on shelves for them. Now you're actually in the store and bagging up everything yourself. What do I do after checkout? Please follow the steps mentioned below. Find the area for customer pickup with the shelves and fridges near the checkout. Enter the number of bags or large unbagged items for each temperature zone. There are chances where you're going to do frozens and refrigerated areas, and they do have special fridges for you, but you gotta actually notate each one of them in the app. Scan the QR code to print the labels. Affix the labels on the bags. Scan shelf and corresponding bag labels for each shelf. Place bags or large items on the shelf in the appropriate temperature zone. Ensure all items are correctly bagged by the temperature zone. Marked staging complete once all done. The process itself is overall simple. It just sounds like it's a lot more than it really is. How do I print the labels? Make sure the label printer is turned on, use the scanner, the handheld sitting next to the printer, and print the QR code on your phone. And there's a little station that walks you through the whole thing, as well as what's on your phone, so it's really not too hard to do. Tear off the labels and affix the bags, which is to be expected. What do I do if I cannot scan the QR code or print the bag labels? If you are having an issue with scanning the QR code or printing the labels, find a store associate to help. If the store associate is unable to resolve the issue, please write the customer's name, the bag number, and the total number of bags, e.g. 1 of 4. So when in doubt, ask an associate. If the associate can't help you, use a Sharpie if you can. I always say just have a Sharpie or pens available to you in that case. What do I do if I printed the wrong number of labels? Use the back navigation to return to the screen that allows you to enter the number of bags or large items, update the totals to the correct numbers, and reprint the labels. Throw away the first set of labels printed. I'm glad that they actually have a back button per se. In Instacart, there was a huge issue with that to where if you wrote the wrong number, you're effed. It's that simple. My red card was declined. What should I do? Make sure you only check out with the items you indicated were available and add it to your cart. Double check any item substitutes you picked are in the same price range as the original item. Remember to click finish pick once you've finished shopping for the items on your list, and always select credit on the prompted payment system. I'm also going to leave a video in the description talking about the red card itself. I need to remake it, but that video still has solid information. I'll leave it in the description. Feel free to check it out. I paid for the order out of pocket because of a red card failure. What should I do? To get reimbursed, simply take a picture of the itemized receipt. And to be clear, not something somebody wrote. An itemized receipt. They do give you a really hard time about that. I remember having an issue where a restaurant only used written receipts, and I almost got scammed by Doordash because of it. Make sure the date, time, items, merchant name, and merchant address are clear, visible, and match to your current order. Contact DoorDash support to process the reimbursement. Please be ready to submit the picture of your receipt by chat or email when requested. And Dasher support will send you that email themselves. What should I do if the shelves to keep bags are full and there is no space to keep the bags? If in the event there is no space on the shelf, approach any store staff member and ask for support. I gotta tell you, I've never seen that personally. Usually when I see those shelves, there's usually maybe a couple of orders on there, but really that's it. What should I do if the customer does not respond to the item substitution text message? If a customer has requested to be contacted for substitutions but has not yet responded about a specific item, please continue shopping for the other items on the list. If you're ready to check out and the customer still has not responded, click proceed to checkout and follow the in-app prompts. Here's one important point about that particular subject. Customers are going to ghost you. It's just a fact. That's how they operate. And honestly, it's really frustrating when that takes place. Now, I do have some side notes that I would like to go over on this particular subject. Better than Instacart? I know. I'm giving DoorDash praise where maybe they shouldn't, but at the same time, I think they do something with shop-only orders that Instacart just doesn't. I know that Instacart is pretty good about base pay in comparison to DoorDash, but for shop-only orders, they actually turn off the tip option. Whereas for DoorDash, they actually keep it on and you can make some real money with it. Now, that being said, how long is that going to be available? I mean, it's DoorDash. Typically how they operate is they market this thing to you. They make it really good and then later down the line, they're going to take it away. It's not like it's unheard of that they're going to bait and switch you, but keep in mind, right now is a good time. Risks of the red card. And with the red card, there's going to be a lot of risks. One of which is is deactivation. Whether it's them claiming you overpaid for something, or they're claiming fraud that paid for things that were not available on the card, when in reality it's just inflation. And honestly, sometimes it's deserved because some people like to sneak on items and keep them for themselves. But on the flip side of that, sometimes it's literally just, hey, inflation's a thing. This time last year, prices are a lot smaller. It's not my fault that that's how the grocery stores are right now. But they have been proven to deactivate people for using the red card. So understand, if you're gonna do these orders, you're gonna have to use the red card, so that's gonna put you at risk. Return on time. I'm sure you've heard of something called ROI, which is return on investment. ROT is return on time. It's something that a lot of gig workers really should consider when considering the type of orders they want to accept and complete. Obviously, there are some restaurants that are really quick and you could just run into a store, run out, go to the customer, take a picture of the food at the door, and that's it. And then there are some customers that are just a pain in the butt about it. And then there are some merchants that take their sweet ass time. So all of these things affect your ROT, your return on time. And obviously the initial payout takes a lot, but your ROT is dependent on how quickly you could do shopping. You can make a lot of money with it if you're good at shopping and you can actually find everything relatively quickly, or if the item count is low. But I think that's something you really need to consider. If it's a big order, you gotta understand you could end up doing all that shopping and they could have like a $10 tip. And also, here's another thing. How do hidden tips work with shop only orders? I don't know. Usually hidden tips is based on the distance you are from the store and how far the store is to the customer and the total mileage there. The total mileage is only going to be from you to the store. There's a good chance that the hidden tips are going to severely hide the total value of the order. Your ROT may not actually be that high, or it could be really high. I remember somebody saying that shop and deliver orders like the top 5% of orders in his area. Take that with a grain of salt. I have always been skeptical of using it, but I know a lot of people that are really happy doing it. That is up to you as your independent contractor journey. Did I miss anything? Is there something else about the shop only orders on Doordash that we have not covered in this video? Let me know in the comments. Let's make sure that everything that everyone needs to know about shop only orders on Doordash is made clear and out in the open so we can all make the most amount of money as possible. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. As always, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace!